On Thursday, India marked 2 years since the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan was giving sermons to New Delhi. The Prime Minister put out a Twitter thread accusing India of human rights violations, oppressing minorities, destroying Kashmir's identity. Pakistani ministers held a rally. They marched on the streets of Islamabad, preaching India about secularism and minority rights. In the meantime, here's what was happening in their backyard. On the 4th of August, a temple was desecrated in Pakistan. Sacred idols of Hindu gods were smashed. Religious posters were burnt in broad daylight, and the entire incident was telecast live on Facebook without any intervention from the police or local authorities. The shameful incident took place in the Bhong village of Rahim Yar Khan district in Pakistan's Punjab province, which for the record is barely 60 kilometers away from the border with India. Eyewitness videos show a Muslim mob storming the temple, setting fire to the main door and ransacking the structure with sticks, stones, bricks and rods. Why did they do this? The justification is appalling. They say their attack was in retaliation to the actions of an 8-year-old Hindu boy who was arrested last week for allegedly desecrating a Muslim seminary in the area, 8 years old. The boy was released on bail for being a minor. But the locals in the area were not satisfied with the punishment, so a group of adult males desecrated a temple over the alleged actions of an 8-year-old. I mean, who does that? Even now, the situation is so tense that Pakistan has deployed troops in the area. Look at these images. These are paramilitary forces outside the temple in anticipation of another violent attack by locals, who continue to blame the boy for the unrest.
तकरीबन 8 साल 4 माह का बच्चा था। उसकी नाजेबा हरकत की वजह से यहाँ बहुत सारे मामला पेश है और यहाँ पे दंगा फसाद भी हुआ। सीपैक को भी आवाम ने जो है वहाँ पे एहतजाज किया, बंद कर दिया गया। लेकिन हमारे रेंजर, पंजाब रेंजर ने और हमारे पंजाब पुलिस के जवानों ने बेहतरीन हिकमत अमली की और यहाँ पर उन्होंने बहुत सारे निज़ाम को बेहतर किया।
Back in India, the government has lodged a strong protest with Pakistan. India summoned Pakistan's top diplomat in New Delhi and expressed concern over the continued attacks on minorities in that country, because this is not a one-off incident. Attacks on minorities and their places of worship have been taking place at an alarming rate in Pakistan. In January 2020, a mob vandalized a temple in Pakistan's Sindh province. They also set fire to Hindu scriptures. In July 2020, an under-construction temple was vandalized in Islamabad. A mob of vandals razed down the temple's walls, demanding the construction be stopped. In August 2020, a pre-partition temple was demolished in Pakistan's Leari. The temple was reduced to a pile of bricks by locals on the 16th of August, just a day after India's Independence Day. Then in October 2020, a temple was vandalized in Pakistan's Sindh province. They damaged idols and desecrated the shrine. Islamabad promised swift action, but the attacks did not stop. Barely 2 months later, in December 2020, hundreds of Pakistani extremists burnt and demolished a temple in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They razed it down with hammers and crude weapons. A case was filed. All accused were later acquitted. Why? Because the Hindu community had quote-unquote pardoned the mob. In March this year, a 100-year-old temple in Rawalpindi was attacked by a group of vandals ahead of a planned operation to clean the area of all encroachments. And now a temple has been desecrated in Punjab. That makes it a total of 7 incidents in 2 years. And they preach others about tolerance and secularism. According to Anila Gulzar, a Pakistani activist for minority rights, there were a total of 428 temples in Pakistan's Sindh province. Today, only 20 of them are left. 20 out of more than 400. According to another report, out of the 365 Hindu temples in Pakistan, only 13 are managed by a government body, the Evacuee Trust Property Board. What about the rest? The Hindu community in Pakistan is responsible for the rest. Well, how well equipped are they to manage these temples? You can judge that from the repeated attacks on their places of worship. They're in no position to fight back. This is the story of minorities in Pakistan, a story of grief, oppression and helplessness. Imran Khan would do well to remember this story the next time he decides to preach anyone, let alone India, about secularism. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.